Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Doctor. How are you?
I'm good, Alhamdulillah. How are you, Munir?
Alhamdulillah, doing great. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. How is life? How is studies? Balancing between work, family, and studies? All going good? Not bad, Alhamdulillah. We should always be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. balance balance is a distant thing, Every society is going through some kind of stress and struggles. May Allah bless you all. I ask Allah to give you the best of life, both in this world and in the hereafter. Inshallah. Our destiny is not here, the destiny is in the hereafter. May Allah bless you all the way and your families as well. I'm going to take you to the 5th week. Today we are discussing international opportunities in running an entrepreneurship. So you're moving away a little bit from theories into the context. Context of what? Context of the globe. And mashallah, there are wonderful examples from your own country about spreading business from local to regional and from regional to global. There is something called, very interesting word called glocal or glow regional. So glocal is when there is a meeting point between local and global. We will be talking about some of these issues, and I hope the class is getting full very soon, inshallah. So this topic, identifying and analyzing domestic and international opportunities, is related to textbook chapter 6, the textbook that you have on the VLE. It's on textbook chapter 5, my apology, 5. Let us introduce the topic. So it says that the entrepreneur, the one who runs the business, should identify opportunities for domestic and international expansion. The pressure to internationalize, the pressure to globalize is being felt in virtually every organization, including entrepreneurship. Now, who can tell me why there is a pressure to move your business from Dubai to, for example, London, or from Dubai to, for example, Jordan, Amman, a region, or to, for example, Saudi, or a little bit far in Malaysia? Why there is the pressure? Well, who can tell me why there is a pressure that you have to globalize your business? Any ideas? Opportunities, of course, but opportunity, is it a pressure? New markets. Is opportunity a pressure, Foz? Do you think Elon Musk, after investing in Tesla car industry, that his American buyers would be enough to make him to a break-even point? What is a break-even point? The break-even point is a situation where what you invested and what you have earned is same. There is no profit. There is no profit on top. To keep our operations ongoing, of course, you have to, because if you don't multiply your business, if you don't extend your business to different geographical locations, then at some point you will not be able to diversify the business. So Elon Musk, when let's yeah, resource access. Resource access is also a good point. So Elon Musk, after he has invested in Tesla using science and technology to really produce electric cars of a good quality, good standard, he thought that whatever I have invested, so this is the economic pressure, first of all, I have to look for markets beyond the US, beyond United States of America. So he started selling his car in Canada, which is just you can deliver the car by truck from US because the same border. Then put the cars on ship and send it to Europe, send it to Japan, send it to Middle East and all these places, Australia as well. And that is the job of the marketing people, by the way. So that is one pressure that you have to go beyond the break-even point. You have to find new markets because the production cost, for example, you have a production cost of $10 billion. You have to sell 12 billion to make a profit of 2 billion, right? And then, of course, you have taxes in different countries and different kind of revenues. Like now, for example, if a Tesla comes to Canada, Canada is imposing a 25% tariff. These are different issues. But the main point I'm highlighting is an entrepreneur must find a way to sell his business to as many people as possible. Think about Google, think about Apple. Their market, they're all American companies, including Tesla, but they are not setting their boundary for America only. The whole globe is their market. But when they send a car to, for example, to Dubai, of course, they customize it, climatize it so that it can fit into the right weather, right topography, redesign it. So the Boeing says, if you think Boeing, for example, another classic company, or Bombardier in Canada, or Airbus in France, do you think that their market is only France? France is a small country. The whole Europe is smaller than India. West Europe, I'm talking about. And France is just one part of that Europe, Western Europe. But their investment is in $1 trillion in Airbus. Boeing invests in $1 trillion in their Boeing. Bombardier the same in Canada. So in order to sell your product, to go beyond your break-even point, you need to find markets where you produce more and you sell more. The more you sell, your break-even point gets less and less. And on top of that break-even point, everything is your profit. In our time, when I was a college student, university student, and even we didn't use that much of a computer. I'm talking about 1979, 1976, 1977. We used to write with pens. And Japan is a small country. At that time, it was only Japan who produced a quality pen, except for the German. But German pens were very expensive. They're more fashionable, elite class pen. But Japan used to produce functional pen, the pen that everybody can use. Pilot, for example. And Japan imported it. Yeah, Bic is also another one. But I'm talking about Pilot, long time before Bic. Pilot was like a fountain pen. You used to put ink into it and then write it. I still miss those days, believe me. There are different designs of pens, different colors of ink. You have to literally put inks, and then they started fillers so that are already filled with ink, and you don't have to put anything. You just put in your pen and you write. When the filler is finished, you replace it with another filler. So classic good old days, starting from the industrial Japan in the 1950s and 60s and 70s and 80s and all that, when the world was not technologically so advanced, We still have a global concept in business. So the pressure, many of you have mentioned about opportunities. That's a very important thing. Many of you have also mentioned about, I think, let me see, I think there are one or two issues. Organizations continue to run the business, get more revenue, access international resources. Thank you. But to do that, you have to be strategic. You cannot just start from ABC or XYZ, because you are moving into the second phase of your business. From Dubai, you are expanding your business. Think about MR, think about Emirates Airlines, DP World. All of these businesses are classic examples of your own country's, top-rated entrepreneurs that started moving from Dubai into the greater globe. But everything came through a process, and that process is an assessment plan. Before you move your business internationally, make sure that you have an opportunity assessed properly. Because it says in the box, the key to a profitable domestic and international venture is to develop an idea that has a large, reachable market. And who can tell me, other than market, what else do you want to check? For example, you are moving your business from Dubai into Germany. Culture, very important, so that you can get the test of people. Production cost in that particular area, yes. Anything else? So you did the marketing. Yes, there is a good market there. Then you are testing the culture. The culturally, your product is saleable in that particular area. Then Rita says cost of production in that particular area. What else? Legal paperwork, legal framework, supply of labor, competition in the market. Absolutely. What else? What else? Don't you want to look at the taxation system? Why so many people are moving to China? Do you know? One big reason is easy labor supply. China provides very cheap labor and easily available. They're already trained. Yeah, of course, is cheaper labor. What else that people move to China for their business? Cheaper production, yeah, because of available resources, cheaper, less tax, exactly. Something that is called tax holidays. Yeah, cheaper manpower, cheaper raw materials, available resources. Supply chain, you can mention supply chain is also very well constructed there. They have very well built ports and good infrastructures. But we have to also understand the taxing system in a country. They call it tax holidays. China is such a country where apparently it looks communist or socialist, but inside is very much capitalist. What is the main philosophy of capitalism? Freedom, flexibility, adaptation. So if you move to China, it's like when you go to Dubai fish market to buy fish, and you're looking for example, big hamur fish, okay? In my time, I used to go there. I love Dubai. I used to go to all fish markets in the country, to Ras Al Khaimah, Dubai, Ajman, Khurfakan, Sharjah, etc., etc. I love the fish markets. I love fish, by the way. What you see that when you are looking at a fish, you are also looking at a fish next door to the next store. By the way, they are all open under the roof, and maybe somebody is also calling you to have a look at their fish that they have. Maybe they're just brought it from the sea, and then you move from one place to the other. China provides the same kind of attraction to the investors. Shanghai proposes you that they will give you 10 years of tax holiday, which means you don't have to pay any tax to Shanghai until 10 years. After 10 years, then it is matter of negotiation. Then Beijing will talk to you and propose you, okay, we are giving you 12 years tax holidays. And perhaps you will move there because there are more Muslims. Maybe you'll get more halal food. Maybe your emotion attracts there. So you move not to Shanghai, but maybe you can also count so many other things, living costs, because you have to have management there, labor there. Everybody's living cost is important. You have to put all of this in your calculation, in your business plan. So you prefer Beijing than Shanghai or somewhere in Hubei, more rural or north, because you calculate all these factors in 360 degrees. But the most important one is tax holiday. They call it, meaning that in your investment, whatever profits you make, you can just take them back to your country. There is no need to pay anything to the local authorities. This kind of freedom is there in China. No wonder why China has attracted so much of international investment over the last 25, 30 years, and always remained very high on economic boom, always on the double digit, always in the double digit per capita gross domestic product, GDP. Yes, Rita?
Doctor, I wanted to add something. So a couple of days ago, when Trump announced this $100,000 fee that companies had to pay for the H-1B visa, China, to kind of combat that, China launched their own visa called the K visa, where they were trying to attract as much of the tech engineers, the tech employees to their country. They launched this visa that was free of charge to kind of take as much of this talent as possible, which I think is very, very smart and adds to what you're saying about China.
It is excellent. It is an excellent proposal from China. I can tell you, Donald Trump's proposed H-1 visa for a cost of 100,000 US dollars will not attract people. Not attract, for example, the technologically sound people, technologically skilled people from India, for example, or from China, because America attracts more technological people both from India and China. Rather than cultural issues with China, but other countries will be feeling it more convenient to go to China and live there. The amenities of life, Rita, everything that attracted us to come and live or study or work in the Western countries, including US, Europe, and Canada, for example, or even Australia, will slowly diminish. So you pointed something very important. China is always playing with the international cards, so they're very much strategic. And there are cities in China where you can find English speaking people, English speaking environments, English speaking neighborhoods. They're providing hospitals of highest international standard, even to the standard of US and Singapore. And then they have all the bilingual doctors and all that who can speak fluently in English and Chinese. So if you look, America has dominated the global economy last 100 years. The turn is coming to China now. As even the American economists are predicting the same thing. That's why China has immediately responded with their own package for immigration. So all over the world we see this immigration is an important topic for politics, and America is playing with a card of money. Dubai is playing a card of the golden visa, the talent hunting process, and China has also opened its door for it. You will soon see other Arab countries will open the door. You will soon see European countries are starting the process, including Australia and New Zealand. Just 1 second, I have a call. Just give me a second. Sorry for that interruption. So the main point is that the whole globe is attracting capital and attracting talents. So every country has to have its own strategy to put their perspective in the right position, so that, because you see, like just Rita mentioned about the Chinese response to the American proposed H1 visa. Um, it is an unprecedented increase in that price. H1 visa previously was free for those who are really talented, and America needed them. Started from President Clinton's time. Now he's trying to make like business even with immigration. Malaysia has another project called the Second Home Project, which is also quite financially burdensome. So we have to see how different countries attract talents and attract capital in that sense, and attract business. Now, when you do an opportunity assessment plan as to whether you should move your business globally or not, it is usually a shorter one than the business plan. The whole business plan we'll be discussing soon, because that's the whole focus of our course. Then the focus is on opportunity, not the venture. All of these things that we have mentioned, what are the opportunities in terms of revenue, in terms of legal framework, in terms of environmental regulation, in terms of availability of bank bank investment, in terms of labor, in terms of land, and overall in terms of profit. These are the opportunities that you have to count. The plan has no financial statement, so it is not inclusive of budget. It is the basis of decision to act on an opportunity or to wait. So this assessment plan will ultimately guide you whether you should take a decision or you wait until another time. So in terms of that opportunity assessment plan, there are major sections and minor sections, okay? So let's look at the major sections. There are first and second, and in the minor there are third and fourth. We'll be looking at them with some microscopic view and discussion. So first section, one of the first thing that you need to do is a description of the product. Then what is the market need for that product? Specific aspects of the product or service. Products currently filling the need, features and prices. Competitive companies in the industry. Unique selling propositions of the product. All of these things are in the first section. So it's basically product related. Second section, in the major section within your opportunity assessment plan, is the social condition. What is your social condition? Sorry for this. Let me erase this. So it is the social condition that you need to look at, underlying the market need. So if you are expanding Emirates Airlines to book, for example, in African countries, in the West African countries like Liberia, you have to look at the social condition. How much of they love to travel? How much is their social appetite? How much is their, one thing is their financial ability, but the other thing is their social. How many of the Liberians are youth? What is their travel experiences, or is there any data that shows that they are better travelers than the previous generation? All of this data is important for you to assess in the second section. Any available data to describe the market need, as I just mentioned here, particularly looking at youth. Then Emirates Airlines, one day you'll be seeing an announcement opening a new flight to Liberia in West Africa. Size, trends, characteristics of the market. Who are they? Are they youth? Are they also elderly? Are they families? Are they students? And all of that. Then growth rate of the market. Growth rate of the market. Let me show you something. Now, EK, Emirates Airlines, after its inception back in the early 1980s, it was primarily regional. Basically, there were Gulf Airways at that time, which was more prominent in the Middle East. But Emirates Airlines started their flight basically to South Asia, to Pakistan, to Bangladesh, to India, to see how the regional market responds to them. Slowly, Gulf Air declined and Emirates entered into the Middle Eastern market. It was still a Middle Eastern market. And from late 1990s, Emirates started functioning mostly in London and other European cities. The expansion continued to North America, Los Angeles, New York, and all these places, Boston, Vancouver, sorry, not in Vancouver, Toronto, for example, and Montreal in Canada. So the expansion continued all the way to Africa, to Latin America, like Brazil, to East Asia, to Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, and so on and so forth. So as they found through this opportunity assessment plan that people are loving Emirates either for its good quality services or its timely operation or its beautiful food, whatever you can say, and high quality aeroplanes, not old but all new. People started traveling through Emirates Airlines, and of course there are other things like the loyalty programs, etc., etc. So any business that you look at slowly moves with data, slowly moves with opportunity assessment plan in the record. Then the minor sections that also need to look at in the third section of your opportunity assessment plan. Why does this opportunity excite you? Now you're looking at yourself. Okay, there is an opportunity to move your business there, but why does it excite you? You ask yourself. How does the product idea fit into your background and experience? Can you really make it possible? What business skills do you have? What business skills are needed? Do you know someone who has these skills? So there's a lot of research need to be done here in this area. The fourth section, identifying each step, determining the sequence of activities, identifying what is accomplished in each step, determining time and money needed at each step, determining total time and money needed, and identifying the source of this needed money. So everything is quite logical, very logically moving from section 1 to section 4 through these major studies and the minor studies. The whole thing, once done, will give you a complete sense about moving or not. The sources of information that you need basically to run this business are multiple. Some sources are international, some sources are free of cost, some sources are basically expensive that you have to pay them a consulting fees and they will provide you the data. Now Plankett is one such company that provides industrial data, market research, trends, and statistics. In the Western world, there are more. Frost and Sullivan also provides very industry-specific information. Euromonitor provides information on companies and brands, as well as consumer market sizes and marketing parameters. Gartner provides information on technology markets only, so they are more specific to technology market. Gale Directory Library provides industry statistics and directory of non-profit organizations and associations. So you have multiple sources. These are all Western sources, by the way. Now, if you look at Plankett, how do they give you diversified? I'm just going to show you something. So you see that Plunkett Research Limited, they have all different kinds of support services. All right. And then if you click on something like customer research, custom research, corporate market, custom market research, surveys, business industry analysis, competitive intelligence, and market sizing, you can go into more details and all of that. Then they are attracting your interest, saying why you should rely on Plunkett for business market research, 10 different reasons. This is basically to convince you. Okay? And they are related videos and all that. Then if you look for government resources, then you can also look at few things like census data, view the international database of world populations, gather information from the economic census. This is more about demography and population. So you can look at this data and then you analyze those data. Export Import Authority UN Comrade database, learn importing and exporting basics at USA.gov pages, find NAICS codes and industry classification and so on. So OSHA.gov provides SIC classification and SIC manual. So these are all Western resources, by the way. So if you look at again UN Comrade database, let's see what they have to say. So they are giving you free access to detailed global trade data, okay? Very detailed. Data availability, if you click on data availability, you come on all of this. Then you can filter the process and get into your data that you need. Trade, you can also filter and get into more trade data. And these are metadata. Lots of data. Lots of data. Correlation tables. So this is more statistical source, okay? There are other resources like businesses can also try searching different key terms such as your product and industry, market, competitors, etc., to gather more data. Trade associations do market surveys and are strategically involved in international standards issues. So in every country there are like Chamber of Commerce and Industries, or there are specific chamber or specific business organizations to run a particular business. For example, Microsoft, not Microsoft, software or AI or digital business data or just ordinary traditional business such as agriculture or, for example, industries such as shoes, leather, garments, and all of that. There are more trade association specific data are available country by country level. Trade journals provide trade insights, and market conditions. So these other resources are more academic and professional that you have to search yourself and get to them. What kind of a data we have in the UAE and Middle East, across Middle East? If you look at some of these, this is a monograph that I produced actually. So you have UAE Ministry of Economy, Foreign Trade Division, that provides a lot of data. Dubai Exports, Abu Dhabi Department of Economic Development, this is Abu Dhabi specific organization. Federation of UAE Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Dubai Chamber of Commerce, Sharjah Export Development Center. In the region, you have United Arab Chambers, Arab British, Arab American, Arab French, Gulf Cooperation Council, the GCC Export Promotion, Export Credit, International Trade Center like ITC, UN, and WTO, and World Trade Organization, WTO. But World Trade Organization is not very functional anymore. After the era of globalization, country to country negotiation and business to business negotiation in the world is making more sense these days, rather than controlled by different world bodies such as the WTO, World Trade Organization. But at a time then, when before globalization, when China did not open its market, India did not open its market. I'm talking about until 1980s. During those decades, WTO was very functional. Now let's look at your own story about MR, how they proliferated their business basically from Dubai into the international arena. Let's look at that story. You can see it on the screen, right? Can you see it? So this is a Financial Times report. As you know, Financial Times is thank you very much. As you know, Financial Times is a hugely important international business magazine, and they are giving a story about Dubai developer MR turns to big countries for. I think we can't see that. Oh, I didn't know. When I looked at it, it was okay, but now let me check it one more time. Let me check if I can open it for some story. No, it doesn't open, unfortunately. But it's a story that gives a profile of MR as to how MR, after becoming hugely successful in Dubai, are now finding their international routes into different countries, including the South Asia, Europe, and the Arab world. Let me go back. Then these are the top 12 multinational companies that have successfully become global after finding opportunities in the international market. Emirates Group is one of them, definitely. MR Properties, DP World, Dubai Duty Free, Nakhil, Dubai International Finance Center, DIFC, Dubai Petroleum, Emirates NBD, which is a bank, this is a bank, IBM, Dubai, Jumeirah Group, and Majid Al Fuqtem Holding. I think some of them are not totally international, but more regional than international. But most of them are more internationally operating, very successful multinational companies based in the UAE. Now, if you look at the other picture, just on the flip side of investment from Dubai, let's look at investment in Dubai, and that is the foreign ownership of commercial companies that are operating in Dubai in full scale. So Dubai has attracted a lot of international investment. They call it FDI. Please write it down. FDI stands for Foreign Direct Investment, FDI. And Dubai government supports tremendously positively to these potential investors from all over the world, including the Western European and North American investors. I hope this will open. It's a short, very short video I would like to share with you. So this is a invest in Dubai. Let me close this. So basically, it's an investment in Dubai corporation that has that little short video, but they have many other videos to attract investors and also to raise the awareness among the global community, global business community in particular. The whole idea is that Dubai looks towards the investment from different categories of investors in different areas of business, from education into international universities to international schools to international health facilities. Like if you look at the health in particular, then there is American Hospital in Dubai. There are hospitals that are coming from Germans, the Saudis, the British, the universities there in Manchester from England. And then, of course, if you go to Abu Dhabi, there is American universities there, a French Sorbonne there, very famous university in France. So Dubai is like a melting pot of all international champions of businesses. And so I've given you health and education. Who can inform us more investors in Dubai from international that are all prominent? Share your thoughts. Think about it. Rita?
Yes, doctor, I wanted to add that there's a lot of social media platforms that open their headquarters in Dubai, like LinkedIn, Meta, Snapchat. They have their Middle East head offices based in Dubai, which I think is really great for the region, right? So they don't have to pay a lot of taxes like they do in the US or Europe, for example. So it's really good for the region, and they hire a lot of nationals here, right? So Emiratis, they hire Jordanians, Lebanese. So it's very good for the region.
Yep, lovely. That's very nice. Any other views about investment in Dubai or investment in the UAE? Who are there? Any famous investors? Any other views? Yes. Who are they? Binance or Binance?
So it's like a trading platform, similar to CFI, eToro. They're very well known in the US, and if I'm not mistaken, their CEO is Chinese or
Yeah.
Taiwanese. I'm not sure. They also invested a lot in the region, and they're also opening offices here.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Any other? I have a long list of investors, long list. And as I start pronouncing their name, you'll all understand who are they. I mean, there are investors. Let me clarify the question again. There are investors who brought capital, investment, management in PayPal is one of them. The money exchange, or I think money processing business. Aster Medicare, yeah, from India. Aster Medicals. Any more? Any more? Bitcoin, that's fine. Let me give you a list of many in different categories. For example, in digital business, technology and digital business, we have the regional headquarters of Google in Dubai, Microsoft in Dubai, IBM in Dubai, SAP Germany in Dubai. SAP actually is, I think they used to have their offices in Silicon Oasis, Dubai Silicon Oasis. In terms of finance, yeah, Carrefour, IKEA, fine, the names are coming up. In terms of banks, who are the big international banks that operate? HSBC, Citibank, fine, thank you. Standard Chartered, Barclays, UK, Citigroup, yeah. In terms of consumer goods, chocolates, top quality chocolates and biscuits, household toiletries, Nestle, absolutely. Procter and Gamble, Unilever, UK-based, and of course you mentioned about IKEA. Automotive, manufacturing and selling and supplying and their maintenance units in Dubai. Who are they? Do you have Toyota? Do you have Mercedes-Benz? Do you have Nissan? All of them have offices in Dubai. What about logistics and aviation? BYD, yeah. FedEx have their office in huge operation based in Dubai airport. DHL, likewise, UPS USA. Then if you look at hospitality and hotel management, you have Accor, Hilton Hotels, Marriott International, and all that. So starting from small markets, supermarkets to big businesses. And if you look at Lulu, for example, is it an international investment or Dubai investment? Who can tell me? The supermarket Lulu, is it an international? Lulu Hypermart, Lulu supermarket. How is it UAE? How is it local? Who can tell me how? You can open your microphone and say if you are tired of writing. How Lulu is an UAE-based business rather than an international investment. No, that's not the reason, Hasna. International businesses can have also stock share. Think about it. They started in UK. Exactly.
Doctor, I believe, yeah, Lulu Group, it's owning the Lulu hypermarket. So the Lulu Group itself is an international entity, but the Lulu hypermarket is a local investment.
Yeah, that's a smart answer.
Yeah.
Lulu's origin was in Abu Dhabi. by an Indian entrepreneur called Mr. Yusuf Ali. Back in the days, long time back. Okay, but while Walmart and Carrefour would be, and even IKEA would be international, but Lulu is local. And in my understanding, Lulu has based in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Their headquarters is in Abu Dhabi, by the way. Based in UAE, they are now spreading their business in regional cities, such as I think they have in Qatar, in Saudi, I don't know. They're now investing in India, in Malaysia, in Oman, in Egypt, in Bahrain, and very surprisingly, also in the UK, United Kingdom. So Lulu is expanding based in the UAE. So it is an UAE owned business, not an international business. Good discussion. Thank you very much. So that takes us to understand the difference between international and domestic entrepreneurs. There is an approach called PEST analysis. Are you familiar with this? PEST, P-E-S-T. P stands for political, E for economic, S for social, and T for technological. This is something that you need to invest in. It is an analytical tool that is very useful in exploring opportunities for international business. So your journey from domestic to international, if you have planned so, the last piece of work that you should do after the opportunity assessment is to invest in PEST. So in the political space, you follow the public policy that influences policymakers, wars, and stability. The Koreans and the Japanese always figure out if the country, not only the country is stable, but also the region is stable. Oh, sure, Munir, sure. Please take that break. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't understand that. I'm sorry about that. Take the break. We'll meet again after 5-7 minutes, inshallah. Take the break for Isha, inshallah. Thank you for reminding me, Munir. Maybe we can start now. Thank you very much. Welcome back. So I was saying that after you have assessed the overseas business assessment plan or the opportunities plan to extend your business overseas or internationally, you should also look at this tool. This is an analytical tool that is called PEST, P-E-S-T. And under politics, you need to look at the public policy and those who are the policy makers, whether there is any kind of a civil war or level of security, law and order, and stability. Very important. Then under economic, you need to look at the taxation policy, monetary policy, distribution of resources and trends. Under the social, you look at language, psychographics, ethics, and major events, psychological and social. Under technological, you really need to look at technology, how it varies from country to country, and products should reflect the country's infrastructure. So if you take, for example, your Tesla car, if your Tesla car industry is somewhere in Africa, it will not work because you will fail in so many tests on the pest. But on the other hand, if you take it to China, you possibly have a better chance of making Tesla from there. Just that's why China has attracted all big companies in different ways. So pest is an important thing we need to remember, okay? Then comes culture. Culture needs to be looked at very, very seriously for different things because it has many aspects that can prove difficult. Language is composed of verbal and non-verbal components. Social structures and social institutions are also aspects of culture. So verbal language you can understand, whether they speak in Arabic or English or Urdu or German or French. You understand that is a spoken language. But how can you understand the non-verbal components unless you understand the culture of a country? How do they express their emotions? Not with words, but non-verbally. Not opening their mouth, but it can be in a different body language. You need to understand that bit of culture. And then with the social structure, is this too little rich and too many poor here? This kind of situation is not really good for expanding a business to a different location away from your country, because there is always social tension here. Like many people say that running a business in Mexico and Brazil are problematic because of the social structure, which is very much top down, and it is unipolar rather than multipolar. So this unidimensional, little bit of rich and a vast majority of the poor. Brazil the same. Religion can impact the values and attitudes of individuals. That's why you cannot run business that sells beef, for example, in India, because of their respect for cow, the tremendous respect. And it's a very sensitive subject there. So you cannot, even if you run McDonald's, for example, you have to look at that sensitivity, the cultural and religious. A country's politics impacts a wide variety of economic classes. Be aware not only of the education level, but literacy rate as well. You can look at that there are maybe 10% master's degree holders in that country. But if the literacy level, which is below 30, which means that country is difficult to do business in, because then you will be having difficulties in communicating with people and selling your product. Knowledge of manners and customs is important in terms of understanding their levels. So finally, you have to set your motivations either to go or not to go globally. Profits are the most significant reasons. That is the most significant, if not the significant, it is the most significant. Profitability is lowered due to cost, underestimating, and mistakes. So if you, at the time of your assessment, if you make a wrong calculation in terms of the cost of your production and many other things, including the pest, politics, economy, etc., public policy, then you might find that, oh, when I did the calculation before coming to this country, I was wrong. So don't be wrong later in the day rather than correct yourself at the right time. Sales to other markets is another reason to go global, like what Tesla, Google, Apple have all done, and the Chinese are doing. The domestic market may be leveling or even declining, so you should now open new businesses because your domestic market is declining slowly. Entrepreneurs may wish to avoid industry regulations. This is something that you really need to look at. In some countries, like if you operate your business in Europe, you have to pay a lot of extra money to maintain your environmental regulation. For example, if you go and set up a garment factory or a textile industry somewhere in close to Frankfurt or even close to Dundee in Scotland, make sure that you have set up basically, because textile or garment means it will be using dye, and that colored water will go back into the canals or the rivers. They don't like it. They will not allow you to do so. So what you have to do, you have to invest in a recycling plant before you actually invest in the industry itself. So all the water will be recycled and fresh water will go back into the sea or into the water bodies. I myself saw it, something like a Japanese factory in Indonesia. I visited Indonesia a long time, twice I've been there. Once I was on a conference. So in that conference, that's what exactly they showed us. Obsolete technology may find sales in foreign markets. Now, this is something very controversial. The Western market, when the technologies are obsolete, they try to sell the obsolete technologies to new markets. Markets like the poorer countries in Africa and Asia and Latin America who cannot afford to buy new technologies. So that is also one of the reasons and motivation why you need to go global. So now I have a quick discussion questions, and this is the end of our discussion for today. Discuss how motivation has been a key role for some of these multinational companies in the UAE to go global. What motivation do you figure out for Emirates to go overseas, Emar to go overseas? Now the discussion is turned to you. I'll be just listening and responding. At least spot one of these agencies, one of these companies and say something. In your view, what has been the key motivator for them to go? And these are the motivation list, this profitability, domestic market was declining, obsolete technology, and all that. Plus all of the discussions that we did to financial motivation. Okay. That's good. Financial motivation for whom, Rita? You have to mention the company name. Any company.
I think for most markets or for most brands, the biggest motivation, because we live in a capitalist world. So yes, I believe in a lot of the brands that have good intentions. They want to maybe connect the world better or expand and have all of this globalization part. But the financial aspect of it is very important. So especially when they're trying to convince investors, right? Everyone looks at the ROI. So that's why I say financial. So Emirates, for example, there's a lot of restaurants. Salt restaurant, for example, they're expanding in the GCC market. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Rita. Fatma Al-Blushi.
Yes, so I'll take Emirates as an example. So for Emirates, I would start with the government vision and support, the UAE leadership. They always aim to go globally and like rank one in everything. And then it comes the economy diversity. So beyond oil, they chose like Emirates Airlines or the Emirates Group to diversify the revenue or the income or the profit that we get from the business. We can also look at the market growth. For example, getting like the international demand, they are available in all the continent, approximately like entire the world. We can also look at the brand building as well when it comes to Emirates.
Thank you, Fatma. Excellent. Any other views? Why these companies have gone global? What are the key motivation? Can you also mention that sometimes sharing the best practices on top of financial motivation, like representing a country and showing that my country is doing good, like a replica, a symbolic gesture that Emirates Airline is the flagship carrier of the whole of the country UAE, and therefore when Emirates goes, it sponsors football teams, international games like international cricket tournaments, World Cups, international tennis tournaments, and so on and so forth. They don't earn anything. What is the motivation in those kind of activities? Brand ambassador. It is actually also financial. This selling the reputations by sponsoring different international events and games and sports, etc. Underneath there is a financial, because this is, as correctly said by Hasna, this is actually a marketing tool. Although they spend money, but it is basically to sell their product and gain the confidence of customers more. And building a brand as well, of course, the brand name. Now tell me one thing, where do you see there is lack of motivation? This is not in the slide, but some question came up in my mind. Where do you see there is a lack of motivation in Emirati companies or Emirati universities or some Emirati entities to go global and again build a brand name, spread reputation, do good marketing? Because we are always looking at the profitability issues through marketing or brand selling, etc., building brand, etc. But we also can say that sometimes organizations go and they create jobs internationally. How many staff are working in Emirates? The whole world works for Emirates. Either they're based in Dubai or internationally. How many staff are working there? So this is a hugely human resource management mobilizer in that sense. And now contributing in different international events, as well as committing itself to slowly use less petrol and moving into more of a emission-free, fossil fuel-free, possibly at some time, energy sources. So that will be a huge corporate social responsibility for Emirates, apart from creating jobs and other things internationally. Do you agree with me? Natural resources, yeah. Okay, Hasna, I understand you have lack of natural resources, but you have lots of intellectual resources. There are universities in the UAE. That thing that I don't see is when you see there are flooding of international universities in the UAE, flooding of international schools in the UAE, both in French and English mediums. Because when I lived in the UAE and when I came back from UAE and now living in Canada, what I want to see is the name of UAE, the name of these Middle Eastern countries are giving shining examples in the West, rather than the West dominating the economic world all the time. Do you get my point? So we see that Sorbonne is there in Abu Dhabi, City University is there in Abu Dhabi, Manchester is in Dubai, and then of course there are some blended universities, American University of Beirut, American University of Dubai, American University of Sharjah, British University of Dubai, and so on and so forth. Canadian University of Dubai. Why not the Dubai universities and Dubai schools and Dubai top-rated Dubai educational institutes, and even the skill that they have in Dubai hospitals can also be transferred somehow. So people just go to Dubai to see the brand name Dubai, Burj Khalifa and all these places. But Dubai's intellectualism, Dubai's soft power needs to be transferred as well. I'm just basically mentioning about soft power. Do you get my point? Oh, Rita, that's a wonderful question. Well, my soft power are all sitting in Canada. My three daughters, they grew up here, unfortunately. Yes, sometimes I miss Dubai weather, Dubai people, Dubai food. But what can you say? You have to make a compromise at sometimes, But that's my response to your question, Rita. But at the same time, frankly speaking, you can do more academic exercise when there is excellence. Some places, like coming here, I attend some conferences of real good international standard. And in Dubai, I didn't see that, frankly speaking, although we wanted to build that culture. So there is one thing dominated in Dubai is that intellectual soft power is sitting in Dubai only. It is not transferred. UAE plus non-UAE, like people like us who've been there. When I told the stories, when I was teaching there, I did some conferences internationally, like in New Zealand, different places. I went to Egypt with a group of students. Mashallah, they did very well in an international student at the American University Egypt, American University Cairo. I went for conferences in different places, like in Portugal, in Hungary, in New Zealand, places like Canada. And what I have seen is there is not many people who are telling the good stories about Dubai internationally. What is happening there in terms of leadership, in terms of the growth of civil service, in terms of the innovation drive, in terms of the national agendas, national pride. People know Dubai by Emirates Airlines and Burj Khalifa outside Dubai. That mindset has to be changed. That's why I'm saying that the discussion of motivation to go global has also to start from Dubai itself. And you have to come out from the comfort zone to really do something that your future generations will be proud of. Inshallah, that's good. Thank you very much, all of you. May Allah bless you. Thank you. And did you check the second assignment is already there? Did I do that? Did I set it up? Second assignment, I'm checking it now. Entrepreneurial planning. The first assignment was the 10th of September. It's done. No, the second assignment is already there. 8th of October. It's 8th of October. So it's been week 7. Thank you, Muhammad. So I do hope that you'll be slowly moving into that second assignment. and then I'll give you the third and the fourth, which is like a progress report and the final business plan before you go and sit for the final exam. If I were the syllabus developer, and if I had any say to, if I have any strong voice to share with my HBMSU colleagues, believe me, I would not prefer a final exam for a master's program. Final exam is, we can have lots of other creative assessments rather than just a final exam. But I am helpless, because the syllabus is just given to me and I teach and I run the assessments. But if you are a teacher in Canada and US, I taught many courses in Canada. They give you complete autonomy to develop your syllabus and run the assessments on your own. Therefore, the same course taught by different teachers here have different syllabus. And at a master's level, at least, there should not be any exam, because exam does not test your creativity and your innovative skills and your synthesis, your analytical power and all that. It is more about memorizing and delivering back. But again, I'm helpless. I'm sorry about that. Thank you very much. Take care. My blessings and dua to your families. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, Doctor. Good night. Bye.
Good night, Monet and everyone. Good day from here. I'm just about to pray my midday prayer now. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. See you all soon, inshallah, next week. Thank you.